She had always been the kind of girl who preferred silence over noise, the back row over the spotlight, and daydreams over gossip. Her name was Emily Carter, a 16-year-old transfer student with soft brown hair that framed her pale face and eyes that always seemed to look at the ground rather than meet someone else's gaze. Emily had just moved into this new city with her mother after her father, a decorated martial arts trainer and ex-soldier, passed away a year ago. Life had already been merciless to her, stealing away the only person who always believed in her strength, and now it had thrown her into the middle of a new high school where everyone already had their cliques, their friends, and their place. Emily had none. She was the shy new girl, carrying an old backpack and wearing hand-me-down dresses her mother stitched late at night. The whispers started the moment she entered the hallway on her first day. Some students giggled at her clothes, others rolled their eyes at how awkward she looked holding her books tightly against her chest. But the worst of them all were the school bullies, the kind of cruel teenagers who fed off the insecurities of others. Their leader, Brittany Sanders, a tall, blonde girl with a smirk sharper than a knife, spotted Emily the moment she walked past the lockers. Beside her stood her friends, Jason and Kelly, both equally arrogant and cruel. "Well, look what we've got here," Brittany sneered, stepping into Emily's path. A little lost puppy wearing a thrift store dress. The group laughed, and Emily froze. She wanted to speak, to say something back, but her voice caught in her throat like it always did. She just lowered her head and tried to move past them. That only made things worse. "Ah, don't be shy." Jason chuckled, tugging at the hem of her dress. Emily jerked back, panic rushing through her veins. But Brittany wasn't about to let her go so easily. In one swift, cruel motion, she grabbed Emily's dress at the shoulder and yanked it. A tearing sound echoed through the hallway. The students gasped. Some laughed. Some pulled out their phones. Emily's cheeks burned with humiliation as she realized her dress was ripped across the seam, exposing the thin undershirt she wore beneath. Tears welled in her eyes. She clutched her arms around herself, trying to cover up, but the bullies laughed even harder. "What a loser!" Kelly snorted, pointing at her. Emily's knees felt weak. She could hear the whispers, pathetic, weird, freak. The hallway felt like it was closing in on her. Her father's voice echoed in her memory, "Emily, strength isn't about fighting others. It's about standing tall when life tries to break you." But in that moment, all she could do was run. She darted down the hallway, her ripped dress fluttering as laughter chased her. She hid in the girls' bathroom, locking herself inside a stall, hugging her knees, and silently crying. For the rest of the day, Emily kept her head down, praying nobody would look at her. But the videos had already spread. By lunchtime, the entire school seemed to know about the shy new girl whose dress was ripped in the hallway. Her humiliation was viral. She wanted to disappear. That night, when Emily got home, her mother noticed her torn dress. "Emily, what happened?" she asked, worried. But Emily just shook her head and whispered, "Nothing, Mom. I don't want to talk about it." Later that night, Emily sat on her bed, staring at an old photo of her father in his karate uniform. He had always told her to never let fear rule her life. She remembered the years he had spent teaching her karate in their backyard, the endless hours of practice, the bruises, the sweat, and his words, "You don't know your true strength until life forces you to use it." Emily clenched her fists. Maybe she had been hiding too long. Maybe it was time to remember what her father had taught her. The next morning, as she put on another simple dress and tied her hair back, something inside her felt different. She was still quiet, still shy, but beneath that calm exterior, a storm was waiting. Chapter 2, The Karate Chop That Changed Everything. The school hallways buzzed with the usual chaos, students chatting, lockers slamming, footsteps echoing. Emily walked quietly, clutching her books, pretending not to hear the whispers that followed her. But today was different. Today, she wasn't just the shy new girl. She was carrying a secret. The bullies spotted her almost immediately. Brittany smirked, Jason cracked his knuckles, and Kelly gave a mocking laugh. Well, if it isn't our little fashion disaster," Brittany taunted, blocking Emily's path once again. The students nearby paused, sensing another scene was about to unfold. Some even pulled out their phones, eager for drama. Brittany stepped closer and tugged at Emily's sleeve. "Careful, guys, don't rip her dress again," she mocked. The bullies burst into laughter. Emily's heart raced, but this time she didn't flinch. She slowly set her books down on the floor, her eyes narrowing. The laughter around her faded into a low hum as her father's voice filled her mind again. "Emily, courage is standing up even when you're scared." Brittany tilted her head, amused. "What's this? The little mouse found her claws?" Without warning, Jason reached out to shove her shoulder. But before his hand could land, Emily moved. It was like lightning. She sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, twisted it with a fluid motion, and pushed him back. Jason yelped in pain, stumbling into the lockers. The hallway erupted in gasps. "What the?" Kelly shouted, rushing toward Emily. But Emily spun on her heel and delivered a swift karate chop to Kelly's arm, knocking the phone out of her hand. The phone clattered to the ground, screen cracked. Kelly stumbled back, stunned. Brittany's smirk faltered. "What are you doing?" she snapped, lunging forward. Emily's eyes locked on hers. Calm. Focused. Deadly serious. In one sharp motion, she blocked Brittany's swing, pivoted, and delivered a perfect karate chop to her shoulder. Brittany cried out and fell to her knees, clutching her arm. The hallway was silent. Nobody laughed this time. Every student stared wide-eyed, their phones recording not the humiliation of the shy girl, but the stunning moment she took down 3 bullies in front of the entire school. Emily stood tall, breathing steadily, her hands clenched in perfect fighting stance. She didn't look angry. She didn't look vengeful. She looked powerful. "Don't ever touch me again," she said firmly, her voice steady for the first time. The bullies were too shocked to respond. Teachers rushed in moments later, demanding to know what happened, but the dozens of students filming had already captured everything. For once, the truth was on Emily's side. The bullies were escorted to the principal's office, facing suspension, while Emily was left standing in the hallway surrounded by stunned classmates. But something unexpected happened. Instead of mocking her, students began to applaud. Some cheered. Some even approached her to thank her for standing up to the bullies who had terrorized others for years. For the first time, Emily didn't feel invisible. She felt seen. That evening, she sat on her porch, staring at the sunset. She whispered softly, "I did it, Dad. I finally stood tall." Somewhere deep inside, she knew he would be proud. And as for the rest of the school? They would never forget the day the shy new girl's karate chop knocked out the bullies who thought they owned the hallway.